Medea is one of the earliest figures to be called a witch, but she was not created as a monster. She was created as a problem. She enters Greek myth as a woman who does not belong, not by temperament, but by origin. From Colchis, at the edge of the Greek world, she is a priestess trained in ritual knowledge, herbs, and sacred rites, often associated with Hecate. From the beginning, Medea represents something difficult to contain, a woman with knowledge, autonomy. Medea is defined by what she knows. Her power is practical as well as ritual. She works with pharmaca, herbs, roots, oils, and compounds used for healing, protection, and harm. In the ancient world, this knowledge sat between medicine and magic, and it was often held by women. Such work was not theatrical. It was precise, embodied, and feared because it operated outside formal authority. When Jason arrives, Medea makes a choice. She aids him knowingly, and in doing so, she breaks with her homeland, her family, and her protection. This is not romance. It is exile. Once Medea leaves Colchis, she becomes a foreign woman in Greek lands, without citizenship, without family protection, and without secure status. Jason benefits from her knowledge, and when her usefulness ends, he abandons her for a politically advantageous marriage. This context does not excuse what follows, but it explains the ground on which it occurs. In the most influential version of the myth, written by Euripides, Medea responds with devastating clarity. She kills Jason's new wife with poisoned garments. She causes the death of King Creon, and she kills her own children. These acts are deliberate. They are fully conscious. They are not portrayed as madness or possession. This is what makes the story so disturbing. Medea knows her actions are unforgivable. She chooses them anyway. Earlier versions of the myth differ. Some place the children's deaths elsewhere. Some suggest symbolic meaning rather than literal action. But Euripides' version sharpens the violence because tragedy demands extremity. In this form, Medea becomes a boundary figure, a warning about female knowledge, anger, and autonomy. This does not justify her actions. It does not redeem them, but it makes the story intelligible. And that is unsettling, because once Medea is understood, she cannot be dismissed as irrational or inhuman. She endures not because she is admirable, but because she forces difficult questions. What happens to women who hold knowledge but lack protection? What happens when loyalty is exploited and discarded? What happens when survival itself becomes transgressive? Medea is not the origin of witchcraft as practice. She is the blueprint of witchcraft as accusation. To remember Medea is not to excuse her, but to recognize how easily knowledge becomes threat when it refuses to remain obedient.